Not quite yet. There it is. Okay. We're live this evening on a Wednesday edition of Sunday Showings. This evening we got a special guest with us. His name is Sean Silverfoot. He is the governor of a town called PaxLair in the game Shroud of the Avatar. We're going to spend a little bit of time this evening getting a little better acquainted with Sean and his city, and hopefully some of the folks in it. So right now, as you see my screen loading up, I am currently going to the overworld. I'm going to hoof it from Brittany over to PaxLair. While all of that is going on, Sean, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about you and your town, kind of give us an insight as far as what you've got going and what you expect to show us this evening.
Sure, not a problem. First thing we should correct is I'm actually the town manager for PaxLair. Winfield is the governor, a governor of one of the other towns that are associated with PaxLair, our PV town. But my job is to connect, keep all our towns. There's like 12 of us all connected and working together and talking to those governors and actually just being Winfield's right-hand guy and handling most things in game. We are a 21 now, 21-year town, not really a guild per se. We started in January of 1998 in UO. There was a guild there called the Band, and they started putting PaxLair together in UO at that time, and it just developed. And we have had meetings in UO every Tuesday for 21 years. That continues. We still have a number of players that are over in UO. They have multiple accounts. We decided to come to Shroud. Winfield saw that Richard was making this, and we saw an opportunity where we could get our own real player-owned town and do something with it, something that, put our own twist on it. And that's what we've done, and it's been great. And we've built that out with other people that wanted to be part of what we do. And as I say, we have 12 player-owned towns that are associated with us now. 2 of those will be going over in episode 2 to the new lands. Pretty diversified that way. We have a PvP dungeon. We have a couple of island towns. We have a town, Scarabreca, that is totally dedicated to Norgards, Vikings, however you want to look at that. So housing is required that way, that kind of stuff. As far as PaxLair's history has always been to be a neutral setting for people where people come to get together. So we allow, back in the day, it would be in UO, reds and blues. It didn't matter. There was just no fighting in PaxLair proper. So we've always had forces to help us enforce that particular law, but most people are pretty cool with that.
Well, Sean, I hate to say this, but I'm getting reports from folks.
Didn't hear a word, right?
They didn't hear anything.
Looks like we have a problem, Houston.
Interesting.
Yeah, now I've got the stream. Looks like it's functioning for me because I see my connection on the stream. And now
I see you loading on the screen.
Yep, but they're saying they're not hearing us at all.
You don't have your mic muted in Twitch, do you, Kaiser?
No, I do not. Twitch itself is muted, so I don't get double feedback on it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I can see your screen. Maybe what I'll do is I'll mute myself here and actually no, I'm going to mute Discord and unmute Twitch for a second.
Yeah, Target says that he still shows me on the KW docs.
No, I'm looking at a logging screen.
Okay. Yeah, that's what you should see. I'm on a login screen because every time I try and log in, it's freezing. That'll complicate things.
What is it? Keep kicking you out?
Yes. Twice now I've been kicked out.
I'm standing in PaxLair now. I found it.
Okay, Target says he hears us.
You're
I
in
assume that's us.
PaxLair. We probably should party so we're together in PaxLair.
Yep, that's a fine idea.
Shows you offline again, Kaizen.
Ah.
Now it shows you going to Night's Watch. In game, I'll just send Sean an invite.
All right.
What is your in-game name, Sean?
Sean Silverfoot, same name.
And I'm sorry. How's Sean spelled?
The right way, SEAN.
Okay. Looking for you to friend. So as soon as you accept my friend invite, I will invite you to party.
Hey, I'm back in game.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
All right, I was going to travel over to PaxLair,
Nah,
but given the current issues I'm having, I think I'm just going to teleport to friend.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm entering PaxLair.
Target says it's the wig. You may be right. And we're squatting. Well, Sean, I do hope that folks were able to hear your rendition about PaxLair because it seemed to be very intuitive.
Not a problem.
I know Target did not hear it, but I don't know about anybody else because I haven't chimed in. But we do have 7 and 6 viewers. It's kind of come and go as far as that goes. Hopefully it'll pick up as we get into the meat of this presentation. Hey, I made it into PaxLair.
There you are.
Now, starting off right at the docks, I see a heraldry banner with
Turn around
scales.
and come away from the mainland. You'll see us.
Oh, well, hold on there. Let me make sure that I've got my 100 gold.
Oh, yes. Can't forget that.
I have my 100 gold. This, as you can tell now, is my very first time in PaxLair, so that's one of the advantages of doing these feature presentations or spotlights, is that I get a chance to see new things and meet new people.
I understand that PaxLair has a history of, like, between UO and here. I'm not really sure what that history is, but maybe you could fill us in.
Absolutely. Basically, the history is PaxLair began in UO and by a guild called the Band, of which Winfield was part of, and that was in January of 1998. So just between you and heading down towards Brittany, there's a little bridge you go by in UO, and just up in that vale in there, they built PaxLair, and there's 2 towers. 2 towers has always been associated with us. Been there for 21 years.
Wow.
We've had actually the town was one of the first places, I guess the first place that Lord British was killed. He came to visit us and forgot to put on his God mode, and somebody took him out for that famous
yes.
little piece of history.
Let's see, it was Firefield, wasn't it, or Flame Strike?
I think it was Flame Strike. But in any case, we've had a whole history, and at that point, the devs in UO started doing things for us as far as making stuff to go with our role play. We've always had a story. PaxLair has been an open town, a neutral town, so we invited reds and blues, and it was pretty cool. They would come to events there, and if they were red, and most of them would behave themselves, but if not, we had a specific guild that enforced the law in PaxLair. So it was a lot of fun, and it built. Meanwhile, we've all been together for 21 years, and about, what is it now, 6 years ago, Winfield came to a couple of us, said that Richard was building a new game and it looked pretty cool. And the interesting portion was they might allow player-owned towns where we could get involved and build our own town. So a couple of us joined up. Winfield was at Kickstarter. I just missed Kickstarter by like 2 days or whatever. But I've been in since that, and Ashley and a couple others, Nanak and actually Themo Lock and a few other people. So we kind of got into it, and at that point, the player-owned town was going to be a thing to go, and it was still in mad discussions on how everything with player-owned towns in Novia would work and in the Shroud would work. And so we got busy. Ashlyn has been with us I guess the whole 20 years. Fabulous artist. So we started, I don't know if you've guys seen the pictures of Winfield with his crayon drawing of when we first started to design the PaxLair that was going to be in Novia. And it started off with Winfield doing a little crayon thing and showing Ashlyn and myself, and Ashlyn was able to translate everything we wanted. I was more of the helping with the town design and layout on the inside, and we got everything. And what she did was she was able to get elevations in the game in our drawing that we made for Richard and them to take a look at. And hence, because we had elevations and the machine they used to actually put that in elevations, that was one of the reasons PaxLair came in as the first player-owned town in Novia. This template that you see now is the one that we built for them. A lot of it's known as Forest 01, and a lot of the other towns were based on this. So when we first started, it was a static town. None of this was really here. That's what everything was static. You told them where you wanted the lots. They would place those lots right there, and you couldn't move anything or go anywhere. So we helped develop that. And then in Art 17, we were the first player town in, and this place was packed. We had every guild in the game we could think of in, and every house was full, and it was a lot of fun. And then after that, the other towns coming in. But they also figured out that they did not have... there was no way in hell they could do that for 300 towns.
Right.
So were we discussing how we could do that? So kind of broke my heart because we finally saw everything built and up, and it was so cool. We decided that we were going to continue to help the devs, and we took PaxLair out of being static and helped them develop the what you see now, and the where you can place your lots wherever you want, that kind of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun, and currently, coming back to your original question, I've segued really out of that. But yeah, so we brought PaxLair over here to be together. A lot of us are here. A lot of us are still back in UO because they're having a blast, and they honestly see no reason to leave, but they do have homes here. And I guess that's the long-winded answer to your question.
Well, so we have a lot to thank you for then. Your town looks very familiar because ours looks just, Night's Watch looks like it's based on this
Pretty
design
much.
as well,
After this is the original, one of the issues with our town compared to some of the new ones they put out is that we still have a lot of very rough spots where you think you can put a lot down and you can't do it because it was never flattened out. Templates made after this were more in the idea of giving flat spot. I think it's the Grasslands is the one that has the actual most space or flat space in the game. So those little things are fun. But then they came down with, let's see who was after us. Vengeance was next. That was a desert town. Based on the PaxLair template, but everything just changed out. I mean, all of the elevations were the same, but instead of this water right here, it was desert, and they changed that. And then after that was Port Phoenix, again, using the Forest 01 template, they changed it into a swamp. Made some differences, but at that point, they added the stone docking, which we chose not to go with. We wanted more of this original feel, but yeah.
No, it's cool. And I'm just looking at your bulletin board. It looks like you have a number of guilds here still.
We do. PaxLair itself is, let's see how to explain it. We weren't a guild in UO. We were a town. And we had a number of guilds associated with the town that had specific roles. So we had geez, I'm getting old. I'll forget some of the names, but we had the knights, who would do the patrolling. We had orc guilds. We had the goblins who came with us here to Novia. So we were never really a guild. So we came here to promote the same idea that we were going to be an open town,
Right.
not really guild associated, and anybody can live here, good, bad, whatever. And we started to go that way, but we're kind of getting a feeling too that a lot of towns being successful have a lot of guild associations. This is a way different game than UO. There's no bank sitting and that kind of stuff. Your people are out doing stuff, so the towns can seem a little empty to us. So you kind of need events to get people to come back into town and have some fun. So we're thinking the guild aspect in this game is probably a little bit more central to the town than it was in UO. So we have a number of guilds, and a number of them are really not associated with PaxLair. They just happen to live here, and
Right.
We've made sections. You'll see inside the walled-in city here, we got a section for 4B in the back, where they do their housing and that kind of stuff. So, but PaxLair guilds, we have 3 that are actual associated with PaxLair, and that's Paxet Fortitudo. That is our main guild at this point, that we're directing all new players in. That's run by John Galton and Sol Stormling, and they do a tremendous job. Then there's Paxet Amor. As you can see, you're going, truth, love, courage. Pax Amor is my guild, Peace and Love. I'm an old 60s guy, so that works out really good for me. And then we have Themo Locks, Paxet Veritas, which has been a big guild for a while. Recently, we looked at our guilds and filtering most of our new players because of communication aspects. We don't have the Guild Alliance chat, which we think would be huge for us to be able to help and go out and do things. So that's coming. So right now we're putting new people in there that want to, and you don't need to be in a guild to live in PaxLair. It doesn't matter. You just come and go as you please and live wherever you want. So then anybody that wants to be in the guild with Pax, we're going to give them through that. That's where most of the people are, and then they can segue out to the other guilds. The other really fun guild that's associated with this is the new Pitmuck, the Goblins of Pitmuck. And they are goblins. In UO, you were actually able to turn yourself into a goblin and walk around. They're pretty cool people. They're led by Nubby Earwiggles. And they were always green and goblin-looking UO. So what they've done here is take the Frogkin ring, and that turns them green. And they've started their own goblin town here, which is pretty. They're a lot of fun.
Cool.
And for those that are watching, I have put a link to PaxLair.com. Didn't take very much to find that. And that'll give you more information on the history of PaxLair, and also the things that are going on both in UO and in Shroud of the Avatar. Sean, would you like to give us the nickel tour, kind of show us around town and kind of highlight some of the things that you guys are particularly proud of here in town?
Absolutely. Well, we changed the entrance. The entrance was always back up on top, but we figured a lot of people had to make a long run down to the port area. So this is our port area, as you can see. I'll show you inside downtown first, and then we'll move around. I know a lot of people complain on the size of the templates all around. I mean, we were amazed when they first popped this template out. Winfield and I got in, and we were like, oh my God, this is so much bigger than we ever thought it would be. And actually, we were almost giddy. We ran around, it took us 20 minutes to run around the whole town and through all the roads, ecstatic. But we like using the whole scene. We like to spread things out. I do, and so we have different sections of the town, and instead of having everything in one spot. So this is our downtown area, and I'll take you inside the walls now. Okay.
As we're traveling there through the docks, there's a lot of unique architecture in here. I'm sure some of these at least are expired buildings. See a couple of your devotionals out front. How many of those do you have in town?
Just 4. These 2 out front, and then you'll see the other 2 inside. The other 2 are fishing related, so obviously they were going to be in PaxLair.
And what's the significance of the scales on the heraldry banners that we see everywhere?
The scales of justice, and scales have always been part of PaxLair's overall heraldry going back. We were able to do that in UO, and it's part of balance. We consider PaxLair to be balance between good and evil, and the scales of justice obviously help us show that balance. And our colors are black, red, and gold. So you come straight in. This over here, the developing PaxLair library. We don't have to go in. Straight down this way, if you come straight through. Main road downtown is down here.
Now, what's the goal of the library?
Every book, we've got books written by the people from PaxLair, about PaxLair, about their own little things. So eventually that particular library will only be PaxLair related books and player written books, not really any of the books that were made in game.
All right. Looks like you got a little restaurant here.
This is our little outdoor tavern. Actually, this used to have a number more of the banners, but we've moved them to one of the boats out on the dock, getting ready for the next release party, which is going to be here in PaxLair. So our outdoor tavern here is, obviously we do a lot of partying out here.
Now, you mentioned a release party. Is that something you folks do regularly?
The release party, we are scheduled to do each release in April, as it's we've worked that out, and because that's the anniversary of PaxLair coming into the game as a town is in April. That was our 17. So we're going to do the release parties in April. Yes.
I got you. So it's an annual thing.
Well, the release parties are each release, right?
Okay.
And they happen all over Novia. Different towns do it. So April, we handle it.
I understand. And I ask those questions with a thought in mind that somebody who's brand new to the game might someday watch this thing.
Again, this is our downtown area. I got to make sure I'm pressing the right button here. Crafted pavilion in there, all benefactor crafting stations. Anybody that is a resident in town has access to go in there, and the chests and that kind of stuff.
Got a lot of items on display in here.
Yeah, I'd like. I kind of like things to look used and things going on. You know what I mean?
I do. You and I agree on that. Looks good.
Over here is our town hall. This one I'll bring you into. So we put a bunch of mailboxes in here, and everybody in, again, they get connected to. But upstairs is our meeting area. So all of the heraldry from people associated with us, that kind of stuff we have up here.
Well, now that's a pretty neat setup. And what is the building that we're in right now?
I'm not sure you can get this anymore. It's a village 3-story with this is called a grand room, or 2-story with a grand room.
Yeah. wooden plaster 2-story with a great hall. I think you're right. I think that is an expired one. That's a neat house, though.
So this is kind of like our town center. We do some things out here. We have the two fishing. Since Winfield's a huge fisherman, and that's his story as the old fisherman, PaxLair has always been like a fishing type town for us. And that's what we're going with here. So this is more like an outdoor gathering place. You know, we've got the stands and whatever.
I've jumped up in the balloon and just kind of doing a little spin around so folks can see.
Oh, definitely.
It's a good view up here. Now, what is that large tower? It's got the moon circle thing on top.
That's a moon tower.
Don't see too many of those around.
Yeah, originally going back, the moon tower, when it first started, and we were only on in the Hidden Vale in Owl's Nest. If you look at it, the moon tower is basically what generates the power that protects, electrifies those fences around Owl's Head, and so it's always been kind of a power. A lot of people don't use it. It doesn't have an actual use in game. I would love to see that come down the line.
There's so many possibilities for this game still. That's one of the things that I like about it.
Even the windmills that, you can somewhere down the line have them as generators going through or moving water or something along those lines. A lot of possibilities. All right, so we'll continue going to the back of downtown and then we'll head the other way.
All right.
So a little different shops from people, homes, that kind of stuff. There's one item back here I want to show you guys. Now back over in this corner, this is the 4B corner, the 4B Guild. They also own not Serenity, Isle of... Jeez, I am getting old. My mind is gone. They have one of the islands that are part of our town, but this is their little corner back here.
Okay, so they have a town that's nested here?
No, they're actually on the overland map.
I got you.
Interesting about nesting, we kind of were in the beginning of that too, because we didn't know how towns were going to go. So when we were thinking about having related towns in the game with each other, we thought of nesting, that was the easiest way to do it. We knew at the time that Richard didn't want a ton of towns on the overland map. So thinking of how we would do that. So my town was one of the first ones, and we made it nested. Figuring everything would be in that town, and all our towns you would connect from inside. It just didn't work out that way. Everything changed, and people like to have their overland presence. But the original idea was to have all our towns nested within PaxLair. And the way we thought of it was like a borough of New York City. New York City isn't just New York City. There's Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Manhattan, So we call this all PaxLair City, but we have 12 POTs that are connected to it. Now, as far as the history of PaxLair in this game, going way back when we were over in the Hidden Vale, and each month we'd have to come in and get our little 4 or 5 houses in a circle, and that was our PaxLair at that time. We were with Amber Rain with Avatar's Radio, and she has the Church of the Dark Star. So since that started in PaxLair, this here is the Church of the Dark Star. And this is Amber does her Saturday sermons from here, and she has other churches in other towns going all the way around. But this is the PaxLair original.
Well, that's set up quite well. So when's the first time you met Richard Garriott?
Ah, geez. First time I actually met Richard was, God, I'm trying to think. He wasn't, the first meeting I went to was actually in UO for UO, and we went to the Manhattan. They had a get together in Manhattan. But the old devs, I think Star might have been there, or it was just before Star. So I think I met Richard there. But the meeting him personally for the first time, actually in a more informal setting and everything, took place at SodaCon in 2016. And there's a whole story I probably won't tell here on that. So.
That's all right.
If you want to find out about it, you got to ask Minerva. I'm sure she'll tell you the whole story. But yeah, we have a pretty fun relationship.
Safe fall for the win. Even got the Dark Star Tower out here next to the church.
Okay, we'll show you a couple other things.
All right.
Then you can go out the back gate. There's a couple of towns out there, spaces out there, lots in that, but we'll take a different way around. Let's go back the other way.
On your 6. I think I met him in 2004. They had a town hall for Ultima Online there in Austin, Texas. At the time I lived down there, so it wasn't too far a drive to get over there.
Yeah, I had seen him again. There was one, I think that was 2006. It was, they had a get together in Manhattan. I met him there. I've been to a couple of them, the one in DC, and then I went to the 20th, obviously the 20th, the 15th, and the 20th in DC. They were great. It was a lot of fun getting together with people.
Well, I will give Richard his due. He actually did a very nice thing for my mother-in-law, because back at that time, she played Ultima with me. And when he was at the town hall, I went up to him independently and I asked him if he would do me a favor, because she was just such a fan, because she'd played all of his Ultima games all the way up before Ultima Online. I asked him if he would go and say hi and pretend to know her character, Obetta. And he actually took the time and spent about 15-20 minutes talking to her, and I appreciated that. So
he is a tremendous guy. This is another entrance, like the old entrance was up the road and you had to run all the way down here. So there's a little bit of a side kicking out.
But she talked about that for weeks.
Like there's over here, Gallus has set up a little book story about PaxLair, and this was the first tree. That all relates to the books that Themolok wrote about us starting up. Okay, we can run down this way.
So what hopes do you have for PaxLair, the town and the community? What would you like to see done in the game still?
Oh, in the game, there's so much you can still do with, with guilds, with fishing, with everything. I mean, really, the sky is open for this game as far as I'm concerned. I definitely think it's kind of a niche game. I think they're going to have enough people to be profitable. I don't see this turning into, a 200,000 people type game. Hopefully I'm wrong. My biggest wish is just I'm 66 years old now. I've spent 21 years in UO. I want to put 21 years in this game. I want it. I love it. I love the people in here are so talented and so helpful. The community it's an older community for sure than you see in a number of games, and that's the part I enjoy. In the people that we're with in PaxLair, they're friends. Most of them are family. A lot of them I've known for 20 years now. I've known a bunch of them for 5 or 6, and those are the people that keep me playing and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I want to see. I just like to see people living here and enjoying themselves, and we get together and just keep the game going through and have a lot of fun.
And does PaxLair currently have any goals for itself within the game?
Yeah, I want to tax the shit out of everybody. World domination. That was my first cuss word. I'm known for cussing a bit.
That sounds like a pinky in the brain mentality there.
Yeah, kind of. You know, old worked on the docks, worked in building management, everything. I kind of prefer the docks. So a little section over here. Again, and normally I would take the thing and run around, but we'll run up here and then we can, I'll take you up to what's our castle area.
Nice little rural community you've got out here.
Yeah, a little space where people, you know, like-minded people can get together and have their own stuff. We have that out by the lake too, where there's a group of 4 or 5 guys and they just wanted their homes together. So we made space for them and found a way to fit them in. Which is the fun part, you know, and I think this is so much better than the static towns, because the static towns were that you wouldn't have been able to put down any kind of deco. I gotta make sure I'm pressing my key. You wouldn't have been put any kind of deco down in the static towns, and I think after a while they would have gotten boring. Here you're allowed to change things. We have Scarab Record, that's part of us. Total Viking town, everything's Viking. Your character has to be, the buildings have to be. PaxLair here proper, we don't care what buildings you put up, but it's nice to see that diversity. All right, so back there, that was the original entrance coming into, otherwise known as Boundary 1, coming into PaxLair. And as you can see, that would have been a long run going down. So up here, this is our Pax Agro area, kind of like our farm area. So we have people living up here. Obviously, we've got crafting stations and whatever. Bankers, so people are available. Down here's our gusball field.
Now, do you guys engage in the game of gusball much at all?
Back in the day, we did a couple. We really want to get that back going again because it seems like a lot of fun. But yeah, I would like to see more of that with towns. And what I've gotten together with some people is to do what we're doing here is get the heraldry from different areas, put it around your gusball field, and let's get some teams in there and, you know, have some fun.
Well,
We should get a league going.
Excuse me?
We should get a league going.
I would love it.
Yeah. Towns against towns. Get town leagues
absolutely. Going. So this is a castle lot. Again, this is for aggro. Anybody in town has a right to come on here, you know, grow what they want. We have more crafting stations up here for them for this neck of the woods. Down here we have our camping area, which I'm due again. We did an event. Geez, I guess it's got to be about a year where we did a scary storytelling around the campfire thing. So we're going to have that. That was pretty popular. It worked out nice.
Sounds like a good Halloween function.
Yeah, it was cool. Daytime, the view's a lot better. Not the rainy night.
Now, does this town always rain? Because the one I live in, it seems like it's constantly raining.
No, not a lot, but I think it doesn't seem so to me, but I think we get the same weather everywhere we go. So I would like to see it different in different places. I think that would be great. All right, so what we're going to do real quick is, the one thing I like you'll probably see popping around, and we got some more to do, and I got to get a cherry tree, is to change the look of the template itself. We probably have about 5 yew trees around now that are much bigger, and they change the view a bit from everybody else. So I'm going to take you back down to the signboard to transport. It'll be easier going over to the lakeside.
Ah, yes, the Greentown signs. A personal favorite of mine because, well, I'm lazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, what part of
Casey,
town do you live in personally?
if you don't mind, for our tavern, I'd like to send you a heraldry beer thing in a cask, and if you could put your heraldry on it, I would love to stick it in our tavern.
I would be
As you can
happy
see,
to.
we collect casks, so.
I think Kaizen means I would be happy to. Because he's too cheap to change his heraldry.
He's too cheap to do his heraldry?
To change it. We had one, and then we just had developed another one. But so the original one was on his character. And
How long ago did you get your heraldry?
Originally, my heraldry was in place since about July of last year. I'm relatively new to this game. I didn't find it very quickly.
Okay. So you didn't get any of the free heraldry shot changes?
No.
Yeah, they were a godsend. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Boundary 2.
Town Boundary 2 coming up. Ah, this must be your castle area.
So this is another one. Actually, we had another house right here, but he just moved into his own POT, which is connected to it.
oh, that's an Edelman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And over here is another castle lot with a farming area on it. And again, any town residents can come in and use this. We put you on the list. So now we're out by what's called Fishhook Lake. This is the lake area.
So who's the town drunk?
If I told you that, I'd have to kill you. So same here. This is Boundary 3 is there, 2 is there. We have some stuff on this. People just like being out by the lake and that. So we've got, bankers out here, whatever they need, and give it a little ambiance. And there are some homes on the other side of the lake there too. Now the fun part is that I'm just a little twisted, so I will go around that lake and move that balloon every couple of days. So it's kind of like trying this guy's going, I don't know what's going on, but my view getting ruined. The balloon keeps moving. I said, well, it's a balloon. It moves. The air takes it, So.
Gosh, there's a lot of houses here that are historical.
And then we have, we have well, let's go back out front to the main dock.
All right.
Show you what's coming up. Actually, when you go over here to the sign thing, click on Central Bridge. Show that little area too. Again, this is an area right here we put together for people that just want to be together in their own little section, quick out, banker right there.
So what connections do you have?
Okay. Of our connections, they had asked us if we wanted to kind of consolidate and put everything like here, player towns, and you'd have 4 player towns. I didn't want that. I wanted a lot of wagons. So these are 2 are land-based. We have 2. One's a regular PvP town, and then we back this way. That's the entrance to Dragon's Watch. That's our PvP dungeon scene. We're going to do a lot of the capture the flag stuff down there. Now, out in the bay, again, we'd like to change things around a little bit and make it seem like it's active. So boats will come and go, that kind of stuff. Right now, we have a pirate boat is in town, and that has to do with the story that Boris is writing on the forums. We have another castle island out there. Yeah, we do have 3 castles in here. And then if you take this boat over here.
Now I'm seeing this island out here is white. Is that just a graphics glitch for me?
I think it's a graphics glitch. I noticed that this morning, yes.
Ours is as well, Kaisen. Remember I was telling you when I loaded into the game that our island in the water is all snow?
Yikes.
Yeah,
so
I
this
know
is,
it's gonna.
we put this together for our the R65 party. The keep lot. There is a keep arena underneath us.
I'm homesick for our Baron's boat now.
Yeah, I hear you.
I love the boats in the bay. I don't know.
Yeah,
agree
we
on
live
that.
on
Call
a
me a
boat.
nerd.
Oh, that reminds me. The medium pirate treasure's on sale today. I have to remember to buy it.
Yeah, I usually wait for the heraldry stuff. Very into the heraldry. I just think it just added so much color and uniqueness to each town to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And let's see, up there is more land. If you look straight, that way you can see we have the keep or moon dial up there on the ledge. There is space up there, nobody living up there. We got 2 U trees to make a difference in the skyline.
It's a really nice view up there, but it's not very convenient.
What's that?
I said it's a really nice view up there on that overlook, but it's not very convenient to things.
Not at all. There is one. The boundary 4 is back behind it, but not really close. It's a little tough part. Originally, we were thinking too, when we were putting stuff, was maybe put one big castle up over there, and then one big castle up on where the other ridge opposite each other. And thinking of doing maybe something PvP with castle wars going back and forth, but just one of the ideas that we've had.
I'll tell you what, Sean, I really appreciate you taking the time to take us through your town and share some of the history and that kind of thing. We are about out of time for this evening, but if you had advice for new players coming in case they ever happen to see this, what would be the advice you'd offer?
Oh, geez. Take your time when it comes to picking a place to live. Find out the people and that you want to associate with them, and don't be scared to ask questions, move around. As far as the game, it's so deep at this point, so many things to do. I would just take my time. I think the biggest thing is from moving from one of the quest lines to the other without completing it. It kind of builds you up. And take your time, take a long view. That's what we do. I don't take a short view of this game that I've got to finish everything in that fast. Take a long view of the game. I believe it's going to be around. And there's stuff I still haven't done that I want to get into, like music and that. So take your time, man. Enjoy the game. It's both social and action. Great people involved with it. So that's about all I can say. And if you come to PaxLair, just be prepared to give me $9.95.
All right. Well, a very special thank you to Sean, who's joined us this evening. And as always, Indira, thanks for helping me with the stream. And we will see you next time on Showing Sundays. And as you have learned this evening, it doesn't mean it's going to happen on a Sunday. So we'll talk to you then.
Well, we thank you so much for having us, and it's a pleasure to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Absolutely. And I'll